Welcome to Heal the World Show podcast, brought to you by the Healing Institute. I'm Parmelia Parham. I'm the founder and the CEO of the Healing Institute, and we are a worldwide hub of holistic practitioners. We are out to help heal the world, and we want to give people hope. We want people to know that there are alternative ways to be well and stay well on their health journey. I've used holistic ways to be well on my health journey for well over 30 years, and I just know it works. So, one of the things that we want people to know is about our platform and our hub, where we have amazing holistic practitioners that really get to the root cause of what's going on with you. And I wanted to, we have a theme every month, and November is Transformational Health theme. It's also Alzheimer's Awareness Month. And we just want to make people aware of the ways you can be well and stay well on your health journey, because we're all on a health journey. And that's my passion. My passion is really to educate people, to give people information so that they can make a conscious decision about their health. Now, why is this important to me? Well, because we had a tragedy in our family a number of years ago where my mom passed away at a very young age. She was only 61. And it was due to complications with a medication that she had been on for a very long time. And we didn't know, it was over 30 years ago now. So we didn't have the information at our fingertips like we do now, where you can find out what the side effects would be on a certain medication. And so she did pass away right at Christmas. It was December 15th. I was 5 months pregnant with my son, my first child. And not only was it a tragedy that she died at such a young age, but my children didn't ever get to see and meet their grandmother. And that is a tragedy, I believe. I don't want that happening for any other families. So I am just really passionate about us knowing alternative ways, and all of the things that are available for us. So I invite a guest co-host every week to come and kind of hang out with me on the Heal the World Show podcast, and we just kind of have a conversation. Now, I'm so excited to have Zoraida Morales with us today. She is a transformational nutrition cancer specialist. So we are right up that. We're so excited to be talking about transformational health and transformation nutrition. We know how important it is for what we feed our bodies is how we're going to stay healthy. Welcome, Zoraida. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, thank you, Parmelia. Thank you for having me. And it's good to be here having another conversation with you. I loved speaking with you. So, I love that you are focusing on transformational health because I never thought that healing myself mentally, physically, and spiritually in 2008 after a cancer diagnosis was going to move me to be a cancer specialist. I used to be an administrative manager in investment banking, but I actually became the coach that I wanted while I was healing through cancer. Now, let's be clear. I had a great oncology team. They gave me this diagnosis. They gave me a medical plan. But then they sent me home and they told me to live a good life and take good care of myself. And I didn't know what that meant,
Mhm.
like many of us. And this was
Yes,
2008.
yeah, we're not taught the tools that we need to have. And nutrition is one of the main tools that we need to have.
Yes. And as I was going through the healing process of trying to get into remission, I was recognizing that nutrition was so much more than what's on our plate.
Mhm.
It's not just food, it's what we put in our minds, it's what we
Yeah.
put in our hearts, as well as the food and the movement. And
Yes.
so I was just at that time just grasping for anything that would heal my heart. because at that
Mhm.
moment, I wanted my heart to lead because, hey, I had to decide how did I want to live, right? I could be one of those people and say, I'm not going to fight for it. But I decided that I wanted to fight to be here. And then I had to decide, well, how do I want to live? What am I hungry for? What do I need that I don't have and how do I get it? And
And
for
not just
me,
hungry for food either,
it
as you
wasn't,
were saying, hungry
yes,
for information, hungry for mindset, hungry for, wanting your life to be a better, not a better life, but living to your fullest. That's
living to
so
my
important.
fullest.
And we
And
kind of take
so
that for granted until
we
we have
do.
something like you had a health issue. And like I had with losing my mom at such a young age.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a wake-up call, but it's, obviously a good wake-up call.
Yes. Well, it does, and it doesn't feel like that at the time because
No, no,
my children have been in your shoes, so I can relate to you. Um, but I started thinking when I'm no longer in this physical space, how do I want to go out? And I said, well, I want a martini. I want some good music, and I do not want to live with regret. I wanted what
Beautiful.
I call my peace, love, and joy, right? And for me, that meant being in delicious, positive relationships, right? Falling in love again, having, a great meal, traveling around the world. That's what I came up with. And ever since then, it's been my mission. So, yes, I took chemo for 13 years. And yes, it was not always a good day, but because I was living in my heart, I was always finding joy and my own peace. Because who's to say how much time we have here anyway?
Well, exactly. And, I love that you said about joy and peace. So we have another person that's popping in, Christopher Hernandez. I'm just going to let him in, but I'm going to, um, yes, welcome, Christopher. Nice to see you here. You're welcome to put any questions you have in the chat. I'm just going to turn your camera off for now, and then after we've finished the podcast, after we've stopped recording, I'm going to bring you and Marie, our other person that's in the green room. I'll pop you guys in, and then you can chat. We can all chat together with Sarita. So wonderful. I'm glad Christopher was able to make it.
Me too.
So yes, that's so important for us to come to the realization of, what is it that's in our heart? I truly believe we're here on this planet in this incarnation at this time to be joyful. I don't believe we're here to suffer or to be, for life to be hard. It can be, of course, that's reality. But
Right.
we can make the joy. We can look in our hearts and we
Yes.
can we can, you know, um, bring things into our life,
Mm,
that we have that joy and have that peace, because that's so important as well. Not only nutritional food, but also feeling at peace so that we're not always, our autonomic nervous system isn't always running
right.
24/7, because that's all part of the stress and the fight, flight, and freeze that we kind of get into that hamster wheel as human beings, as we're
Yeah.
trying to, live life. And those of us that are entrepreneurs and have companies, sometimes we kind of feel that we have to keep going, or if we stop, then everything stops, and that's really not the case. But we
Mm,
have to learn that. And those, again, they're not skill sets that we grow up with, or that we're taught,
right.
with our families. So this is something we have to learn ourselves. So
Yeah.
I know you are definitely a lifelong learner, as am I.
Yes.
And that is so important for, I say be curious, ask questions, do your research, always be wondering why, always be curious,
Yeah,
always ask those questions because that's when you're going to get your answers.
I agree. So I love that we're talking about um health because now we get, you know, my goal is for one person to listen to this and go, I never thought about it that way, right? Be curious. Because one of the things that that I teach, I advocate my clients to advocate for themselves with their physicians.
Yes,
And,
most definitely.
you know, some people may not be in my age bracket, but I come from an age where we defer to doctors
Well,
for whatever.
we have been in that mindset for
Yes,
50 years.
yes,
And it's only just been recently, and I certainly believe the pandemic has helped us come to that paradigm shift where we are, in fact, now being more curious and taking responsibility for ourselves. So when we were locked down for however long it was, how many months, in Canada, where I live, it was on and off for about a year that we'd have a lockdown. Unless you went out, you had to wear a mask. At the grocery store, I still remember, thank goodness it was summer. People were, weren't, they didn't let everybody in the grocery store all at once like we normally see. They only let so many people in. And while we were standing outside on the sidewalk, we had to be a distance between us. There was, tape on the sidewalk and outside the stores, but it helped us change our thought system
it did.
around taking responsibility for our health. So, I truly believe the pandemic came for a number of reasons, but one I think is really, really important is that we started to take more responsibility for health and realize we can do the changes, right? We can,
Yes.
whether it's
We can do the
changing
hard stuff because it was
exactly.
hard. It
Yeah.
was really hard to pivot, right? And it was a mindset thing. And this is when I started, years ago, I started thinking, okay, nutrition is so much more. It's the mental, physical, and the spiritual. So, what you
Mhm.
take in mentally, let's break it down. What you take in mentally shapes you. So, if you spend your mornings watching the news, and look, we need information. But once if you start your morning with news versus gratitude, it shapes your day differently. That's nutrition. That's part of
Absolutely.
that's part of transformational nutrition. That's what I call it,
I
right?
agree. Yes, that's so important. Everybody that I have talked to, and certainly people I've studied and followed and read their books, they all are saying that, start your day where you're not on the news or you're not looking at your phone or you're not, answering your emails immediately when you get up.
Right.
Have some time, however much time you have, take some time first thing in the morning. That's what's so important. And if you have a gratitude journal, write in your gratitude journal. If you want to do some meditation, I have a yoga meditation I do. I am also a Course in Miracles student. So I read my lesson and, study that. And I have put that in my life because the rest of my day falls into place so much easier and so much better when I take that time first thing in the morning.
And I love that you're doing that for yourself because here's what I hear. You have a devotion to self. You are giving not from an empty cup because you're a giver. So you're not giving from an empty cup. You're not giving from a full cup. You're giving from an overflowing cup. That allows you to be authentic, honor yourself, take care of others, and at the end of the day or the evening, you feel more fulfilled. You're not resentful, and you're you're becoming your best version.
And that's really, as you and I, as teachers and coaches and therapists and, practitioners, that's what we want for our clients and people that we interact with. We want them to feel that they are their best, they can be their best self, whatever that might be for them. But it is so important as well to think about how you're going to finish your day.
Yes.
I do my gratitude at the end of the day. because then I can list all the things that happened during the day that I'm grateful for.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I have the best sleeps. I don't know whether it's just because I write it out. It's, I have a journal. I buy journals and I write it all out. But
Mm-hmm.
honestly, I have really great sleeps. Very rarely do, I'll wake up in the middle of the night and can't go back to sleep. And I
Right.
think that's because I've taken some of that negative energy, anything that could have shown up on my shoulders over the day,
Right.
I've actually released it. So
Yes.
then my autonomic nervous system has calmed down, and I can have a good sleep. So we want
Yes.
to just say hello to the people that have popped on to be part of our podcast today. Maria Piplovic is here. She's one of our practitioners on the Healing Institute. Um, and Marie usually stops in and says hi Friday morning, and I'm so delighted that she's here. She's got a great question for you. Um, she's Zareta. She says, did you spend much time in cancer support groups to help with the mental and spiritual, or did you choose another option?
So I did. The Leukemia and Lymphoma Society took really good care of me. They helped me financially because, as many people may not realize, there's a lot of medical expenses not covered by
Mhm.
employer insurance or even government insurance. So your funds are rapidly depleting. So they
Mhm.
helped me with financial funds, but they also helped me with the the support that I needed. Because let's face it, it's like being a parent. You can't explain to someone what it's like to be a cancer person unless you've had cancer. I mean, really, you're not going to understand. It's like being a parent. You've got to be it. It's one of those things. And so you with a cancer group, I recognized that I was not alone. And that's the first thing that happens when
Mhm.
you get cancer. You do not, you feel alone. You don't realize that there are so many other people going through it because you're in your own grief. I mean, the floor just went from from your feet. You are now suspended in air. You don't know what the hell to do. You are no longer who you are. The things that you relied on no longer work. Um, so, you know, getting support as a cancer survivor is key. And one of the things that I do tell my clients is get your tribe in order. Find out who's going to take you to the doctor, who's going to buy you
Mhm.
groceries, who's going to sit with you, who because you need all those people. And this is why my first client was a cancer caregiver, and I still work with caregivers. Caregivers are so important to me because let's face it, without a good caregiver, the cancer survivor would not be able to survive. It's hard to do anything by yourself.
And that's such a important point to make, Zareta. I'm so glad you raised that. I had a dear friend who died of cancer a number of years ago, and while she was going through her process, she had all of her friends. I had a role to do. I could go and talk to the pharmacist for her. Somebody else went and got her groceries. Somebody else, helped her with other things, took her to the cancer clinic.
Yes.
So it was very, could see that how this was so important for her to have that support group. Now she relied on all of her girlfriends because we were all great friends together, but we all stepped up to it as well. We didn't know that, the end result was going to be that she would pass away. We were, of course, hoping that all the treatments were going to work.
Right.
But again, she had it all organized, and she didn't feel that she couldn't ask us. And that's
Yeah.
really important too, for you to ask for the help, because a lot
Yes.
of people don't ask, and then they don't have the support. Now, Marie's got another great question here. Is nutrition the same for all types of cancer, or is it more targeted and different depending upon the type of cancer? So, for example, breast cancer versus colon cancer, or versus non Hodgkin's lymphoma. What?
So it looks different. And for me, the three pillars of nutrition, going back to the mental, physical, and spiritual, that
Mhm.
stays the same. But if we're talking about food nutrition, there is a difference because there is oh my God, I'm having a chemo moment. Um,
Well, would
some
different
foods activate
foods, yeah,
and
different
don't
foods.
don't work with your chemotherapy.
Mm,
So for instance, I have this recipe that eases indigestion and it also decreases inflammation. Now it's called a honey ginger turmeric balm, I call it. And some people taking chemo may not be able to take it because the turmeric may interact with the chemo or
mm,
will interact with the efficiency of the chemo. But me, I've been in remission. I took chemo for 13 years. And so I've been in remission for 3, and so I am now able to do this. So I say to people, before you put anything different in your body, as and we're talking food nutrition, bring it up to your oncology team.
mm.
Because one of the things that I also do is teach my clients to partner with your
Yes.
team because they're there to help you. You're not alone.
That's so
So it looks
important.
different for everyone.
Yeah, I love that you said that because that's so important. Whether you are going through a cancer diagnosis or not, we need to partner with our medical team. We need to be working with them together.
Yes.
You know, I really see the
Ask
Healing Institute as
questions.
a bridge between the allopathic and the holistic,
Hmm.
because we need to have that. We need to have both. But you know, we've always relied on the allopathic, which I believe is one of the reasons that it's not working is because they only dealt with symptoms. They didn't deal with the root cause, which the holistic side does. But working
Exactly.
together is perfect. It's beautiful because we need both.
We need both.
So I'm so glad that you said that because that is so important. To and as a gift, Zoraida has got her recipe that you can connect with her and get her recipe for that turmeric balm. Now, I
Yeah.
want to also say hello to Christopher Hernandez. Thank you so much for joining us today, Christopher. And let's see, he's got a couple of, um,
Let me just say that I met Christopher at the Anthony Robbins, Unleash the Power Within event that I just came from. Um, so thank you, Christopher, for supporting me and for being here. Um, ex Great gentleman. We got to do a lot of exercises together.
beautiful. Well, we're delighted to have you, Christopher. I'm not sure which fact this was, Zoraida, but anyway, he said it's a fact and definitely 100%. So he's completely supporting you. And he also says you become what you think about, which is, we know that that is so true, so very, very true. Um,
Oh, yes.
and Krista's talking about the breath work is a huge help, which of course, as Marie is a conscious breathing facilitator,
Hmm.
we know all about that.
Breath work
Um,
is so important because most people, we take a we stop breathing. So I know I stopped breathing when I got that diagnosis.
I'm sure.
And I could see it now, but I didn't see it then. Now I know that we're not good breathers.
No,
And so even me who does breath work and sound healing and so many other use so many other modalities, I have to check myself during the day. Oh my God, are you breathing? Let's take a deep breath. Because remember, when we're breathing, we're actually feeding ourselves,
yes,
right, which keep us alive. But going through our day-to-day life, living in a mind and ego, we forget to breathe. Our body forgets to breathe and it needs it. So
yes,
yes,
so very important for us to be aware and conscious of the fact that when you're not breathing deeply, and usually that's in a stressful situation, I would say most often, to just be aware that that's happening, and so then you can change that. So Marie says, yes, her mom lived with an extra 12 years after a cancer diagnosis, and she was a big part of her care team, taking her
Oh,
to appointments and treatments. So that is so very important for community and family who can, sometimes family are not able to, but if you can, to definitely be part of whoever has got that cancer diagnosis, to be part of their team to assist them. Well, we are almost at the end of our 30 minutes, which
oh my
always
God.
surprises me.
That went so fast.
I
You
know.
and I could speak for hours.
Yes, we definitely could. So I put in the chat connecting with Zoraida and with her website,
Oh, I'd
and
love to
also on
connect.
LinkedIn. And we will be posting this interview, this podcast. I'll be posting it on LinkedIn later this afternoon. What we do here is we record it on Zoom, and then I upload it to my YouTube channel. And then I take that link in my YouTube channel and repost it on LinkedIn and also on my Facebook groups and pages and on Instagram, because I want people to know about meeting another wonderful healer and practitioner, which you've done today. You've met Zoraida Morales, who's doing some amazing work with her clients. And, we have a big ask. We are out to heal the world. We know that that's a big job, but we are up for it. And we would love you to share this podcast with your friends, with your family, with your colleagues. Let people know that the Healing Institute is available. Our amazing, wonderful holistic practitioners are there to help you be well and get well and stay well on your health journey. So we will be back next Friday for another Heal the World Show podcast. Thank you again, Zoraida, for being here and being my guest co-host. It's been delightful to hang out with you.
Oh, my
And
pleasure.
we're going to stop the recording, and then Christopher and Marie can pop on and have a little chat with you. So thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend.